Hello everyone and welcome to Motion Recaps. Today we will narrate a mystery thriller movie called Flightplan. Watch out for spoilers. Kyle Pratt is a propulsion engineer based in Berlin, Germany. Her husband David died from falling off the roof of an avionic manufacturing building, and now Kyle and her 6-year-old daughter Julia are flying home to Long Island to bury him and stay with Kyle's parents. They fly aboard a passenger aircraft, an Elgin 474, which Kyle helped design. After falling asleep for a few hours, Kyle wakes to find that Julia is missing. After trying to remain calm at first, she begins to panic, and Captain Marcus Rich is forced to conduct a search.
I love this part.
Kyle walks the aisles, questioning people, but none of her fellow passengers remember having seen her daughter. One of the flight attendants calls into the airport they just departed from and, shockingly, the gate attendant says that they have no record of Julia boarding the flight. In addition, according to the passenger manifest, Julia's seat is registered empty. When Kyle checks Julia's boarding pass, it is missing. Marcus refuses to allow the cargo hold to be searched because the searchers could be hurt if the plane shifted due to turbulence. Both Marcus and the other crew members suspect that Kyle has become unhinged by her husband's recent death and has imagined bringing her daughter aboard. One flight attendant, Stephanie, is exceptionally unsympathetic. Faced with the crew's increasing skepticism regarding her daughter's existence, Kyle becomes more and more desperate. Because of her increasingly erratic, panicked behavior, Air Marshal Gene Carson is ordered by Marcus to guard and handcuff her.
You understand? Hey, somebody watch her. Hey! Captain, I have to speak to you! Captain, I have to speak to you! Captain, I...
Behaviors constituting a threat to the safety of this aircraft.
Later on, Marcus receives a wire from the hospital in Berlin. It says that Julia was with her father when he fell off the roof, and she also died of internal injuries. Kyle furiously denies that, consistently claiming that she brought Julia aboard. The crew now believes she is delusional and she is brought back to her seat by Air Marshal Carson. A therapist on board tries to console her, causing Kyle for a moment to doubt her own sanity until she notices that a heart Julia had drawn earlier on the window next to her seat is real.
Sind wir in New York?
Daddy auch?
Ja. Daddy auch.
Kyle is emboldened and convinces the therapist to let her use the bathroom. With her handcuffs now removed, she climbs into the upper compartment and sabotages the aircraft's electronics, deploying the oxygen masks and interrupting lighting. Some passengers brawl with the red herring Arab passengers on board. She uses the chaos to take an elevator to the lower freight deck. She desperately searches for Julia and finally opens her husband's casket, to which she emotionally breaks down. Carson finds her and escorts her back. Kyle makes a final plea to Carson that she needs to search the plane upon landing. Carson considers for a moment, then goes to speak to the captain. Against flight attendant Stephanie's command, they are landing, leaving the audience to momentarily believe he is sympathetic. Instead, he sneaks back into the freight deck to remove 2 small explosives and a detonator concealed in David's casket. He then climbs down to a part of the avionics section, revealing Julia is sleeping, presumably drugged, with her coat and backpack that no one could find. He attaches the explosives to the side of the platform and arms them. At this point, it is revealed that Carson, Stephanie, and the coroner in Berlin are the antagonists and part of a conspiracy. Carson tells the captain that Kyle is a hijacker and is threatening to blow up the aircraft with explosives hidden in the UN X-rayed casket unless the airline transfers $50 million into a bank account. It is revealed that the conspirators killed Kyle's husband and abducted Julia in order to frame Kyle. Carson tells an unnerved Stephanie that he intends to blow up the aircraft's avionics section, killing the unconscious Julia, and leave Kyle dead with the detonator in her hand. After making an emergency landing at Goose Bay Airport in Goose Bay, Labrador, the passengers exit the aircraft as the tarmac is surrounded by U.S.
The passenger's anxious.
You've got to search the holds now!
Every one of my flight attendants are looking for a child that none of them believe was ever on board.
Federal Bureau of Investigation, FBI, agents, though the airport is properly Royal Canadian Mounted Police jurisdiction. As the captain is leaving, Kyle runs to speak to him with Carson in tow. The captain demands she give up her charade, revealing Carson's deception. Quickly playing the role of hijacker, Kyle demands that Carson stay on board and the crew disembark. As soon as the plane's door closes, Kyle knocks Carson unconscious with a fire extinguisher, handcuffs him to a rail, and takes the detonator from his pocket. Stephanie comes out of hiding and Kyle screams, "She's in avionics, isn't she?" Carson quickly regains consciousness and fires at Kyle with a concealed gun, sending her running. He chases after Kyle shooting, until she locks herself in the cockpit. He reveals his conspiracy to talk her out. She opens a hatch door to the upper level and throws out a binder to fool him. Carson hears the upstairs thud and leaves. Kyle exits and encounters a guilt-ridden Stephanie slapping her palm with a large flashlight. Kyle talks her down and punches her out. Stephanie panics and flees the plane, abandoning Carson, who looks on. Kyle during this time searches avionics and finally finds the unconscious Julia. Carson soon follows, and while searching, tells her how he gagged and dumped her daughter into the food bin. He disparages the people aboard who would never care enough to notice. Carson points his gun to where Julia lay before, but they are not there. He turns around and sees Kyle carrying Julia, escaping through a small door with the detonator in hand. Carson shoots at her as she closes the door. She detonates the explosives, killing Carson. The compartment she and Julia hid in was non-combustible, which keeps them safe. Kyle, carrying Julia, exits via a cargo door. Everyone watches in shock and amazement as Kyle carries her daughter out onto the tarmac. Later in the passenger waiting section of the airport, Marcus apologizes to a seated Kyle holding Julia in her arms. Stephanie is led away by FBI agents and more agents approach Kyle, asking her to identify the morgue director in Berlin who has been detained.
Our office in Berlin has detained the morgue director. They'd like you to ID a picture of him.
Can it wait?
She carries Julia still unconscious through the crowd of passengers, silently redeeming herself.
I told you there was a little girl.
One of the Arab passengers helps pick up her bag, a symbolic act of respect and forgiveness. The movie ends with Kyle loading her daughter into a van to take them away.
Hey!
Julia wakes up and sleepily asks, "Are we there yet?" as they drive away. And that is it for today's movie recap. If you enjoyed it, like our video and subscribe to our channel to see more interesting movie recaps.